Greetings everyone, welcome back to Lamech's Effects. Finally, we will begin to talk about where the idea for the Al Bhed came from. But first, like and subscribe, and share this with others who would like to find hidden messages in Final Fantasy X. Now, let us begin. For those of you who are new to this series, I like to show a video that introduces what I'm going to talk about, and every episode pushes us farther and farther in the story of Final Fantasy X. In the last episode, we went with Yuna to explore Luca and to talk about Blitzball. So, in this episode...
Kamari! Yuna's gone!
Where in Spira have you been?
Huh?
Yuna's been kidnapped by the Al Bhed Sykes. In exchange for her safe return, they want the Aurochs to lose.
What?
If they're only Blitzball players, I doubt they'd do anything drastic. But we shouldn't take chances. Let's go get her.
I'm going too. This'll be no problem. They're telling the Aurochs to throw the game, as if they needed to. I mean, how good a team can they be?
Wakka said the same thing. He'll take care of the game. We should go get Yuna. The Al Bhed boat is in Dock 4. Let's go.
Alright, I realize most of you have not seen my previous episodes. I should explain that all my episodes are interconnected. That means what I say in one episode is connected to another episode, and nothing in this series is standalone or in contrast to what I've said before. Why am I explaining this? Because in episode 2, I said that the humans in Zanarkand represent Israelite. Again, Israelite is a race of people who are born from the man named Jacob who is called Israel. Israelite is not a religion. I also showed you in episode 3 that the Al Bhed were in Zanarkand. In episode 9, I showed you that the heathen or Gentile can also be someone who is an Israelite who is no longer considered part of Israel, truly because of religious differences. And in episode 23, I showed that the Al Bhed represents a group of Israelites who became Gentiles. Also, if you're trying to figure out which episode is which, just notice that every episode starts with a number. Now, in every episode since we got to Luca, I've been giving you the history of the Israelites. The reason why is to get to here. All of that comes together to make this episode. So, last episode, we ended the video by saying Solomon loved many strange women. You would think that has nothing to do with this topic here, but it has everything to do with this topic. Let's get started. 1 Kings chapter 11 verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites. So we begin this topic by saying, again, that Solomon loved many strange women. Strange, in this case, means foreign, or Gentile, or heathen. So the strange women are the Egyptians, Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites, because these races are not of the Israelite race. Now verse 2. Of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, Ye shall not go in to them, neither shall they come in unto you. For surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love. So God told the children of Israel, the Israelites, not to marry these nations. Where did he say that? Deuteronomy 7:3. We read that already, last episode. Now, you may note that Ammonites, Moabites, and Edomites were not mentioned in Deuteronomy 7, but the fact remains that they are not Israelites, so they are included in the list of people Israelites cannot marry. And do you remember why Israel couldn't marry them? Oh, this verse already says that they would turn the Israelites away to their gods. I suppose I don't need to go back to Deuteronomy 7 after all. But surely God doesn't know what he's talking about, right? Verse 4. For it came to pass, when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods. And his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God, as was the heart of David his father. Huh. Well, never mind then. Verse 6. And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord, and went not fully after the Lord, as did David his father. Then did Solomon build an high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, in the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon. And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their gods. So, Solomon did something God said was evil. What did he do? He built high places for these pagan gods. Apparently, a high place is a place of worship, like a temple. Like the temple of Ifrit, or the temple of Valefor, or the temple of Shiva, or name your Aeon. So when you see these temples in the game, you can imagine that these Aeons are different gods that Israel learned about through Solomon. And because building these temples and worshiping these idols were evil to God, God decided to punish Solomon. How? Now, before you click off and think that I'm not getting to the part about the divide between the Yevonites and the Al Bhed, this punishment part is where that thing came from. So we're still in 1 Kings 11, and now we're just going to jump 2 more verses to get that whole punishment thing. Verse 10, Wherefore the Lord said unto Solomon, For as much as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and will give it to thy servant. So, God's punishment to King Solomon is, or was, that he would rend the kingdom from him. To rend means to tear in pieces. In other words, to divide. Therefore, God said he'd tear the kingdom from Solomon and give it to his servant. The servant I'm not going to name right now because I didn't have time to include it in this video, but we'll get to the next episode. But anyway, there is more. Verse 11, Notwithstanding, in thy days I will not do it for David thy father's sake, but I will rend it out of the hand of thy son. Howbeit, I will not rend away all the kingdom, but will give one tribe to thy son for David my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, which I have chosen. So the point is, this division of the kingdom didn't happen in Solomon's lifetime, but not only that, but Solomon's family would still be king over part of Israel. So when you see 2 human groups in the game, the Yevonites and the Al Bhed, this is the beginning of that history. This is where all that started. Solomon married many foreign women and worshiped their gods. Because of that, God said he'd divide Israel and give the majority of the population to be ruled by Solomon's servant. In game, that would mean Zanarkand had many Aeons, and because of this, God divided the race, and many people left Zanarkand to become what we know as the Al Bhed today. Also, remember I stated multiple times that Zanarkand is Jerusalem. I never said Zanarkand is Israel. Why is that important? Because Jerusalem is one city in one region in Israel. Jerusalem specifically is the capital of Judah. With that said, what about the other tribes and their cities? If there are other cities of humans, that means Zanarkand represents the tribe and city left to Solomon, and the other cities are ones that were torn away from him. So, coming up next, we'll get to see Wakka striving with the Al Bhed Sykes. It's a perfect time to start talking about the wars these 2 Israelite nations had with each other. Next time on Lamech's Effects.